Hello, everyone. Today we are taking a look at the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe cartoon collection figure. Now, to be fair, if you see one packaging of the cartoon collection, you've seen them all. Of course, the figure is in the front, the accessories it comes with, got a comic book in the back. Back, of course, all the figures you get. There's a little artwork on top. It says modernizing and celebrating the original 80s Masters of the Universe animated series. Of course, this is seen in the episode The Shaping Staff, which you can actually find the original 80s cartoon He-Man stuff on YouTube for free. But, having quickly looked at the packaging, let's get this guy open and see what he's all about. Getting the figure out of his packaging and everything else, so we'll first take a look at the stuff that he does come with before we get into the figure. So here is what all the figures come with, removable and swappable parts. So as you can tell, the head, the two arms, the crotch piece, and of course the boots all come undone, which we'll get into about the boots later. I'm having an issue with one of them, but like I said, we'll get into that. This is just basically every figure comes with this where it shows you what parts you can interchange and swap with other figures. So there's that. And then we got the comic book. It says Onslaught to Snake Mountain. So let me get my camera to focus on that. So there you see. So this should be English. Okay, so it is English because there are some versions where you get international, and usually when you order online, you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know exactly if you're going to get the international, which the international version, unfortunately, doesn't have text or anything. It's just the artwork, the drawing of it. So I assume it would be nice, the international, they printed these out in different languages, but I get why they don't, because they wanted to be pretty simple. So there, of course, is that. So there, of course, it's talking about how, there you see, turned out to be Faker. In the end, Skeletor. And there, of course, the end. So you see you got Leech and Catra. These two are the new figures on this way with Faker. So there's that. Pretty interesting. And what he comes with, of course, is what every He-Man comes with. The Power Sword. Very plain Jane silver sword. It's not the same as the original He-Man sword, but it's still pretty cool. And then you got this head. Now, this is the same, this is the same head sculpt that is on the Faker body, of course. It's just painted with pupils. So if you really want to make people think that this really is He-Man, you can use this head. Or if you have that He-Man, the skin tones I've heard do match. I don't have that one. I missed out on it, unfortunately. And it's very pricey, like $70, $80 in the aftermarket now. So you got this guy instead of Be My Standing He-Man. But the head sculpt does look nice. It's painted very well. The eyes are really done very nicely. It looks just like an angry, irritated He-Man. So this will work for that. But let's get into the figure. So the figure, again, is a complete reuse from the He-Man, basically, because he is He-Man's robot copy, as we know, Zeeble duplicate created by Skeletor, which will bring Skeletor here in just a little bit. But I mean, the eyes are very nice. Let me move my camera up. The eyes are done very well. They're just printed on, painted white, so it's got the glowing effect. It's a very simple technique to do to get the glowing effect, but it's very, very nice. Simply done. Now, this is what I was talking about with the boot. The boot on my copy will not go all the way up there. You see that gappage right there? I think I might have to heat it, because when I turn it, it still don't want to go all the way. See, it's still got that gap. So I think what I might do is I might have to heat it and pop it back in, or there might be a little residue of plastic in there that I need to cut out to fix that. But this side is fine. This side is fine. It's just this gappage right here. But earned that, of course. I mean, everything else is pretty much the same with He-Man, just different coloring and stuff. And the funny thing is about the first release He-Man, his boots had the loincloth around there, around his boots. And if you remember the cartoon, this all was clean, like this. It just had the fur right up here. So they corrected their mistake with this one, but the orange is not the correct color. This is almost turning into yellowish color, when in the cartoon it was very orange, which the first release has. The battle armor is actually correct this time around. This is actually the correct color of the battle harness and harness and everything. So all this is correct except the belt and the gauntlets and all that. All that is not the correct color orange. So that's what I'm thinking. You might take the He-Man if you have it and mix and match parts to get that definitive He-Man. But I think we're going to get another He-Man down the line that's really way more accurate, to the cartoon itself. But it's still a really cool figure. It's very nice. It is a little bit more accurate compared to, the first He-Man. I'm sorry, y'all. I apologize. But let me bring in some figures to compare with. Of course, I said I'll bring them in. Here is the cartoon collection Skeletor. Let me move him back a little bit. This seems not be take up a lot of space here. There's Skeletor. Probably one of my favorite figures that I own. Just unique. Looks so accurate to the cartoon. I can hear that voice coming out of this figure even though he's not speaking. And then we of course have the first He-Man from Mattel Origins line, the original first release Origins He-Man, which this is supposed to be more mini comic look. I know they reissued it again later on. They redid this He-Man but gave him the more vintage style head. This one is supposed to be more mini comic version. So I get that, but this is the comparison. Of course, he is standing all the way straight up as much as he can. So he is 5.5 inches. These guys all stand at 6 inches tall. So those scale Marvel Legends, which is nice to see. But all still really cool figures nonetheless. So having looked at all that, let me get him a pose and we'll get into my final verdict. So having looked at the figure, having looked at everything we've seen and compare of course with Narn and Skeletor and of course the Origins He-Man, look at every detail, the comic, the instructions, what parts take off, everything. What's my final verdict on this guy? I think he's great. He is again a reuse from the torso all the way down, basically from the original He-Man, of course. Because every company, and of course with Skeletor himself, love to reuse that same body mold because it's easy. And it is accurate. The details, the stuff they added to this figure, basically to sort of correct the little mistakes they made on the original He-Man figure, they did a good job. What we have here, it is basically, of course, He-Man's copy, a copy of He-Man, which is figure. But this is really good as a stand-in for figure, for He-Man. Basically, you can call it He-Man 2.0 if you so wish to use him as your He-Man. Now, I did know that some people said that the Prince Adam figure with the Cringer 2-pack, that skin tone does match this figure. So if you by any chance have that 2-pack, you could use those head sculpts on this figure body and make it into a regular He-Man, which I'm probably going to do later on down the road. But still, it's a great figure. It's a nice addition to your cartoon collection if you are a He-Man fan, if you are collecting that line like I am trying to start out doing. I had to start with the best. Of course, get a He-Man, and then, of course, had Skeletor. So, what do I say? Go out, buy it while you can. Get it. It's online available now. Or, if you've ordered it, it should be shipping out soon. I, of course, got this on the aftermarket, if I'm being honest, because I just could not wait. So, I had to order one and get my hands on it. But it's a great figure overall. A one that you must get for any He-Man fan. But that's all the time I have for today, ladies and gentlemen. As always, take care.
Plastic Man, the one, the original Elastic Man. Always in great shape for the shape he's in, the fantastic Plastic Man.